This terrifying thought crosses our minds from time to time. Why do evil people always end up in power and in control? They get to sit at the big table where all the important decisions about our world and our lives are made, even though most of us agree that they don't deserve it, and they don't have our best interest at heart. Their interests often seem at odds with ours. They can be difficult to pin down, but when we try to, we find them revolving around things like greed, selfishness, self-preservation, and more. In other words, their interests appear to be focused on themselves and only themselves. This raises the question, why would we let them take charge if they seem so unwilling to consider everyone else? Before we begin, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. It really helps us out. We appreciate your generosity. Thank you. The human psyche holds both light and shadow, and in its darkest corners lie the psychological mechanisms that drive individuals toward destructive behaviors. What compels a person to commit acts of cruelty? What underlying forces shape the minds of those who stray into darkness? This exploration delves into the complexities of human nature, shedding light on the hidden motivations and cognitive processes that lead individuals down paths of harm. To answer such questions, today we will dive into the chilling psychology of evil, the shadow self, the repressed aspects of our psyche. In Jungian psychology, the shadow self represents the unconscious aspects of our personality that we often suppress, parts of ourselves that society deems unacceptable. These hidden traits can manifest as aggression, selfishness, or even cruelty when left unexamined. But where does this shadow originate? It is shaped by early childhood experiences, the behaviors we learn to repress due to societal norms, cultural expectations, what is considered good or bad within our upbringing, unresolved trauma, pain that is buried deep only to resurface in destructive ways. When ignored, the shadow self can influence behavior in ways we may not even recognize, leading individuals to act out in harmful or unethical ways. However, acknowledging and integrating this shadow can prevent it from controlling our actions. We will look at the ways our mind convinces us that it's okay to cause harm and help us understand how someone can rationalize causing pain and suffering. With that said, let's delve into the darker aspects of human nature and unravel the psychology behind why evil people rise to power, why evil people are always in power and in control. Evil people are those who possess certain qualities and characteristics that allow them to exploit and manipulate others, gain power and control, all while disregarding the well-being and rights of those around them. Here's how the dark side of human nature allows this to happen. Through one psychological perspective, we can explain how someone can hurt another person is through the concept of the shadow self. Coined by famed psychologist Carl Jung, the shadow self refers to the repressed aspects of our psyche, the parts of ourselves that we don't want to acknowledge or accept. These repressed aspects can manifest in various ways, including aggression, selfishness, and prejudice. When these negative traits are no longer suppressed and come to the surface, they can lead to harmful actions towards others. When we meet someone who acts in an evil manner, it's essential to recognize that they too have been shaped by their experiences and circumstances. While their actions may seem incomprehensible or unforgivable, they can sometimes be attributed to the influence of their shadow selves. For example, individuals who grew up in abusive households may have developed a strong sense of self-preservation, leading them to exploit or manipulate others to protect themselves. Similarly, those who faced discrimination or prejudice early on may harbor deep-seated anger and resentment, which can manifest as harmful actions towards marginalized groups. By understanding the role of the shadow self in shaping an individual's behavior, we gain insight into the dark side of human nature and the motivations behind seemingly evil actions. Another reason why someone might rationalize causing harm is through cognitive distortions. Cognitive distortions are mental shortcuts or biases that our brain uses to protect us from discomfort. In the context of causing harm, cognitive distortions can lead individuals to justify or minimize their harmful actions by distorting their perception of reality. Let's take a closer look at 3 specific cognitive distortions that can contribute to the justification of causing harm. 1. Blaming the victim. This distortion involves shifting responsibility onto others to justify causing them harm. For instance, an individual who harms someone because they believe the victim deserved it is employing the blame, the victim distortion. They may convince themselves that the harm they inflicted was necessary or justified due to the victim's actions or characteristics. Through this cognitive distortion, the perpetrator absolves themselves of responsibility and reinforces the belief that their harmful actions were warranted. 2. Minimizing harm. Another distortion that allows for the rationalization of causing harm is minimizing harm. This involves convincing oneself that the consequences of one's actions are not as severe as they truly are. For example, an individual who cheats on their partner and then minimizes the emotional distress they caused by saying it was just a small white lie is employing this distortion. By minimizing the harm, they reduce the perceived severity of their actions and avoid confronting the emotional consequences they inflicted on their partner. This cognitive distortion enables individuals to justify their behavior by downplaying the impact on others. 3. Moral licensing. Moral licensing is a cognitive distortion that allows people to engage in unethical behavior after having done something good. For example, an individual who volunteers at a charity and then uses it as a way to justify cheating on their taxes or exploiting others in the workplace is engaging in moral licensing. They convince themselves that their previous good deed gives them permission to act unethically. This distortion enables individuals to balance their moral scale and rationalize harmful actions by emphasizing their past positive behavior. These cognitive distortions, blame the victim, minimizing harm, and moral licensing enable individuals to justify causing harm by shifting responsibility, downplaying consequences, and balancing their moral scales. By understanding these cognitive distortions, we gain insight into the psychological mechanisms that allow individuals to rationalize their harmful actions and evade accountability. The disturbing part is that these cognitive distortions are not unique to evil people. All humans are capable of experiencing them, making it possible for anyone to rationalize causing harm in certain situations. This raises important questions about the nature of good and evil, and the thin line that separates us from those who engage in harmful behavior. It reminds us that we should not judge others too harshly, as we are all susceptible to the influence of our own shadow selves and cognitive biases. But it also means that we must hold ourselves to high standards and remain vigilant against our own capacity for evil. So far, we have discussed how evil people are able to rationalize their behavior by repressing their negative traits and using cognitive distortions to justify their actions. However, there is another crucial aspect to consider: empathy and compassion. Empathy and compassion play a vital role in shaping our moral compass and influencing our perceptions of what is right and wrong. When we empathize with others, we can understand and share in their feelings, allowing us to see things from their perspective. This ability to connect with others on an emotional level helps us recognize the impact of our actions on them and fosters a sense of responsibility for our behavior. Compassion, on the other hand, drives us to act kindly and help those in need. It motivates us to alleviate suffering and promotes forgiveness and understanding. Both empathy and compassion are essential for combating evil, as they allow us to recognize the humanity in others, even when they are different from us or have done wrong. When we lack empathy and compassion, it becomes easier to dehumanize others and justify causing them harm. We may start to view them as objects or tools to be used for our own benefit, without considering their feelings or the consequences of our actions. This lack of empathy and compassion can lead to a breakdown in moral standards and pave the way for evil to thrive. It is through empathy and compassion that we are able to understand the perspectives of others, connect with them on a deeper level, and recognize the value of their lives. Nurturing these qualities within ourselves is crucial for creating a more compassionate world and preventing the normalization of evil. Is redemption possible? The path to healing. Can those who have committed harmful acts find redemption? While the past cannot be erased, transformation is always possible. The journey toward redemption requires self-awareness, acknowledging past actions, and taking responsibility. Accountability, facing the consequences and making amends. Therapeutic intervention, addressing deep-seated psychological wounds through counseling and rehabilitation. Restorative justice, a process that seeks not just punishment, but true healing for both the offender and the affected individuals. Human nature is not static. While some may descend into darkness, they also hold the capacity for change, growth, and renewal. Now that we've looked at what makes someone capable of doing evil things, let's discuss whether they can redeem themselves. Is redemption possible? The idea of redemption for someone who has caused harm and suffered greatly is a complex and emotionally charged topic. While the possibility of redemption varies depending on individual circumstances and the nature of their actions, it is important to approach this discussion with sensitivity and consideration for all perspectives. On one hand, some argue that redemption is possible for those who have caused harm. They believe that individuals can change and grow from their experiences, acknowledging that everyone makes mistakes and has the capacity to learn and improve. Supporters of redemption emphasize the importance of forgiveness and second chances, recognizing that holding on to grudges and seeking revenge can be detrimental to both the victim and the perpetrator. They advocate for restorative justice practices that focus on repairing the harm caused and finding ways to reconcile and move forward. On the other hand, others argue that some individuals who have caused harm may not be capable of redemption. They contend that certain actions, such as egregious violations of trust, betrayals, or extreme acts of violence and cruelty, can have lasting impacts that are difficult or impossible to repair. In these cases, they argue that punishment and incapacitation may be necessary to protect society from further harm and to ensure that justice is served. Ultimately, the question of whether someone who has caused harm can redeem themselves is a deeply personal and societal one. There is no easy answer, and different people will have varying opinions based on their beliefs, values, and experiences. It is crucial to engage in respectful and empathetic conversations about this topic, acknowledging the complexities and considering multiple perspectives. Ultimately, each situation should be assessed on a case-by-case basis, taking into account the specific circumstances and the potential for rehabilitation and reconciliation. Final thoughts. The psychology of evil is a chilling yet essential area of study that sheds light on the darker aspects of human nature. By understanding the factors that contribute to evil behavior, such as the influence of the shadow self, cognitive distortions, and the role of empathy and compassion, we gain insight into the motivations and thought processes of those who engage in harmful actions. As we conclude this exploration into the psychology of evil, it's important to remember that understanding the darker aspects of human nature is essential for comprehending the complexities of human behavior. By studying evil, we can better understand ourselves and the forces that shape our actions. While the psychology of evil may be a chilling topic, it serves as a reminder of the importance of empathy, compassion, and self-awareness in creating a better world. By recognizing the potential for evil within ourselves and working to cultivate positive qualities, we can strive to create positive change and build a more compassionate and just society. The exploration of human nature isn't just about understanding why some people do harm. It is about recognizing that all of us carry light and shadow within. By confronting our own hidden biases, fears, and repressed aspects, we take a step toward personal growth and societal healing. We hope you enjoyed this journey into the darker aspects of human nature and encourage you to continue exploring the complexities of the human psyche. Thank you for watching. What are your thoughts? Do you believe people can change, or are some paths irreversible? Drop a comment below and let's continue this discussion. If this content resonated with you, hit like, share, and subscribe for more deep psychological insights. Your support helps us continue producing thought-provoking content. Share this video with friends or family who may find interest in this topic. Thanks again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.